this episode through the efforts of everyone in the world of godly demons, include the addition of the Vietnamese translation segment. Li Yunxiao newly obtained the ancient primal gale. The moment he went outside, some even more terrifying than the primal gale appeared, even more like there exists a higher level than the spirit master Li Yunxiao. Even he wouldn't dare fight and would directly flee. However, two still couldn't escape their fate, being devoured into its belly. Inside its belly is an independent space, sealed off. The situation is urgent, and they want to borrow the soul-devouring blade. Lai Van Tu obviously disagrees, but that's not the main issue. The key is that more money is required. Yuan Gao Han was immediately stunned and scratched his head. He thought to himself, has the soul-devouring sect come commercialized recently? How can they still accept money in exchange? Lai Van Tu's expression softened slightly, and he revealed a trace of pain as he said, Old Yuan, we can't just wait to die. You, as a 9th-rank alchemist of the sacred realm, if you can compensate me for my losses, I'm willing to respectfully offer the soul-devouring pill. After all, I know which is more important and which is less. High Elder Han said, as long as we can produce the soul-devouring pill, everyone can escape safe. What do you want? Just say. Han was about to agree, but suddenly he thought that person in front of him was as simple as that, and immediately stopped, furrowing his brows. He said, first tell me what you want. Li Yunxiao revealed a pure smile and said, losing the devouring soul scroll is truly an irreplaceable loss. The special compensation, this is the essence of the slave's soul. Your involvement is clear. Therefore, regardless of the compensation for my losses, it's insufficient, isn't it? More than that. Li Yunxiao deep breath, exhale slowly. Although I've interacted with for a period of time, you have somewhat misunderstood me. Even if we escape from here, we dare not go to the sacred land. You demand compensation. If we don't handle it well, the losses will be even greater. You are right, isn't that so? Yuan Gao Han fold with a single sigh. What do you mean by understand? Mistaken. You, Li Yunxiao, flicked your hand directly and cut off his words. All right, a misunderstanding, and you can't even explain it in a few words. That's the situation anyway. In this situation, I absolutely cannot give you the soul-devouring pill. Don't be like this. You should exchange about 100 ancient scriptures with me. 100 ancient scriptures? What? 100 ancient scriptures? Han Yuan took a deep breath. His face drastically changed. He angrily said, do you think ancient scriptures are nothing? You think that Shao Huangwen is full of treasures, and you can casually take out hundreds of thousands? Li Yunxiao listened and angrily snorted, saying, I even offered my golden soul slave to you. You merely explained a few scripts. It's not like I suffered any loss. It didn't cost me any. Who gained and who lost? Think about it yourself. Not. Then there's no need to discuss it further. Wait. Your spiritual aura and this eightfold body of yours will dissipate, and your true self will go to ponder the ancient scriptures. At that time, can you still return to the 9th stage? Can you still stabilize at the expression on the high-ranking official's face immediately turned grim. He revealed deep meaning ancient scriptures. That's a serious crime. Once discovered by the sacred realm, even he would find it hard to bear consequence. His heart was extremely heavy. Gritting his teeth, he said, other conditions then. Other things I can fill. You, even though it's a 9th grade Xian weapon, I can't. His words stopped abruptly. Only then did Li Yunxiao spit out blood. He held a small, exquisite dagger, stroking it. His eyes naturally assessed. He realized it was a 9th grade profound weapon. Moreover, no ordinary profound weapon. This. Han Yuan's mouth dropped open at this dagger. His eyes shot out a brilliant light. Yunxiao rubbed the small bell, feigning ignorance. He asked, you said a 9th grade profound weapon just now. What a terrifying solution. The Han medicine. His Adam's apple bob, dry and rasping. After a moment of silence, finally he steeled himself and spoke through gritted teeth. I can transmit to you the meaning of a single character. You must, absolutely, unequivocally, not reveal it to anyone else. Only then. A furious expression crossed Li Yunxiao's face. He roared, Golden Soul Slave, I'll give you my life as well. You clearly told me an ancient script. A waste for you to have revealed. Do you even care about your reputation anymore? Anyway, even as a soul slave, I don't want to live anymore. Let's all die at High Priest Han. High Priest Han was speechless with astonishment. From his perspective, the revelation of the meaning of a single word from the ancient scripture. She has already committed a serious crime, and yet the opponent doesn't even care. He forces himself to gather courage, extends 2 trembling fingers and says, then 220s. Ly Van Tu said, his expression determined and cold as he shouted, not a single one less. 2. The high-ranking official's eyes also bulged in anger. Everything I know is just about 20. You're going too far. Do you consider this to be just any object? These are ancient scriptures, passed down through generations. Each one contains profound rules, lifelong studies. Understanding even 1 or 2 would bring immeasurable benefits. Li Yun said coldly, how many do you know? Han angrily retorted, how many do I know? What's it to you? Mind your own business. The most is 3. It can't be more than that. Otherwise, we'll all die. He was so angry that his whole body was steaming, his soul flickering, as if it were burning intensely. Li Yun could tell from his appearance that it was not much different. He had already reached his limit. Only now did it become difficult to handle. 3 is 3, real. Weren't for being forced into a corner. I won't answer you either. At the moment, there are only a total of 7 plus these 3 new ones. That only makes 10. But even so, understanding this type of script might allow us to reach a new level. As for the person himself, Yan Gao has only grasped 4.5. The 5th one is still unclear, partially understood. If he knew that Li Yunxiao already possessed the 7 souls, he would probably want to kill him first. The soul slave seemed to fear Li Yunxiao changing his mind. Gao Han immediately wanted to obtain the soul slave first. Furthermore, his attitude was extremely firm, unwilling to yield even a step. Li Yunxiao wasn't afraid he would welch on the deck, directly throwing the soul-devouring scroll onto the ground. The soul slave is no more. From now on, I won't be able to cultivate this technique anymore. The soul-devouring mirror left behind is useless. I give it to you. Only a ghost would want your soul-devouring mirror. The final step has been complete. Now, let's check divine sense. Indeed, a golden soul slave. He finally feels at ease. Looking at his expression, Li Vantu's calmness was, on the contrary, somewhat strained. Unable to hold back, he asked next, when you lost the soul-devouring mirror, how did you plan to cultivate? How would you merge the spirit soul? That should have been the best choice. Li Vantu couldn't help but speak out. What does that have to do with right now? Take advantage of the time and teach me 3 upper scriptures. The high-ranking official Han subtly nodded. He was a man of his word. After carefully receiving the soul-devouring scroll, he began to explain. The ancient Ladi scriptures were no longer possible to study because their form resembled tadpoles, and furthermore, when they released their rule-based power, they shone dazzling golden light. Therefore, many parts are also called blanks. The number of extant scriptures of Golden Needle scripture is currently extremely limited. Furthermore, very few people have the ability to research the sacred realm. The transformation sea perhaps has long since begun to conduct statistical induction of these texts. There has been research, but unfortunately, it's a pity that even with alchemical techniques, alchemists can only possess a small number of these texts. But there's no good method to pass them down. In other words, these writings have no way of surviving for long. So even though they're in the saint's realm or the sea of transformation, the number of people who possess them isn't very large. Li Yunxiao suddenly asked how many of these writings in total have ever been compiled. Elder Han frowned, pondering. After a moment's thought, he opened his mouth and said it could be more than 1,000. Li Yunxiao was suddenly startled, nearly jumping up in surprise. He could hardly believe how could there be so many. Power of the rules hidden within this text is extremely powerful. Learning a few would already be a significant benefit. It's more than 1,000. Anyone can grasp, so he was a bit afraid to imagine. Then Yuan Gao Han also showed a bitter smile, regaining his composure, and continued. Next, I will teach you 3 ancient scriptures. Listen carefully. The content is important. I will only explain it once, and only demonstrate it once. I said I will teach you, but I cannot guarantee it will work. Perhaps I only used your innate talent. Even a lifetime of study wouldn't teach you this. I don't know. Li Yunxiao remained silent. Classics. The knowledge in the few books he studied added together only amounted to a few hundred characters. Many of them were repeats. Seems that in this world there are likely many other found techniques that exist. To fully understand them all, they also don't know if possible to achieve this in this life. Li Vantu began to adjust his state to its best. He started to listen to Vien Chao Han's explanation. This was the first time he had heard someone else teach him something like this. He had always comprehended things on his own, for the difference between the two would be very significant. Vien Chao Han was in the Holy Realm, having gone through quite a bit of the ancestors' material from various aspects. There are advantages and very unique explanations that Li Vantu felt extremely joyful and kept raising various questions, which left Vien Chao Han surprised and even more shocked, feeling terrified by many issues, even including those that Vien Chao himself. His knowledge of 5 scriptures is not small, but it is only somewhat superficial. However, through continuous discussions and receiving great hints, his understanding became clearer and more expansive. Li Yun's gains grew even greater. Those 3 characters, which seemed extremely ordinary, appeared in many divine decisions he had seen before, immediately explaining to few gods. Their decisions became even more profound. All kinds of doubts were suddenly clarified. In an instant, their minds gradually became clear. 2 of them continued, 1 word from you, 1 word from me, discussing and understanding. Finally, after thoroughly understanding the 3 words of the scripture, the high-ranking official Han didn't say anything else and left it up to him. Li Vantu sat in a cross-legged position, meditating. It was unclear how much time passed, but finally he had completely comprehended the essence of it. Han, watching from the side, was secretly amazed, especially by the look of understanding on Li Vantu's face, which made him feel deeply intimidated. He forcefully suppressed his emotions. In my heart, I said to the young man, although I don't know your name, but would you be willing to join the sacred realm? I dare to guarantee that as long as you are willing, then all the resources you obtain will be more than several times, dozens of times, even hundreds of times more than those of Devouring Soul Clan. Such a genius and prodigy made him want to recruit. Even I'm willing to pay any price to get him on my side. Otherwise, this man is too terrifying. Perhaps in a few decades, the entire Tianwu realm will have bow down and worship him. Before him, Li Yunxiao chuckled inwardly, feeling extremely satisfied. He said, "First, let's get out of this demonic place. Let's see what happens if we don't do that. That case, why speak up beforehand? Even Chao Han doesn't know what he's planning. Keep talking, not to mention your soul devour spell will be destroyed late. Staying in the soul devouring clan, you won't be able to cultivate to the highest level. Just come with me to the sacred domain. There will definitely be stronger soul martial arts techniques for you to choose from." I will carefully consider the elder's proposal. Break formation, Li Yunxiao urged, his voice impatient. His face showed no sign of consideration. The aloof Gao Han sighed soft. Such talent, if unable to dedicate himself to the sacred realm, then he absolutely cannot be allowed to become an enemy. Even at this crucial juncture, he must be eliminated. The holy realm, although outwardly ruling the world, commits many underhanded acts. He regrets saying, "I hope you can think carefully." After finishing speaking, the high-ranking official took out the soul-devouring scroll in his right hand. It ceased, unceasingly changing, striking a group of talismans within. Very quickly, on the soul-devouring scroll, glow radiated brilliant light as a group of yellow souls slowly floated out from within. Their expressions were somewhat dazed. Yuan Gaohan frowned and said, "What's going on? This golden soul servant seems to have no intelligence." Li Yunxiao understood clearly that this was because Zhang Tiao Tian had died and the soul servant had lost its master, which caused it to lose its spirit. "You talk nonsense. You say I use secret method to advance to golden core. If you can't even match my 4-star martial grandmaster strength, do you think you can refine a 9th grade golden core soul servant?" Yuan Han. He thought for a moment and felt it was true. Initially, he found it strange that the opponent only had the strength 4-star martial grandmaster. He also had a 9th grade soul devouring pill. He began to subtly feel regret for being threatened into revealing so many valuable things by the other part. However, now wasn't time to talk about this. He shouted loud, forming a strange ancient hand seal in his hand. A golden color head-sized spell directly strike the opponent's glabella. The golden light of the soul slave immediately fusing in the body, causing to turn from a pale yellow to a gold-like color. The golden soul slave immediately screamed in agony. The sound like his bones were being crushed, causing anyone who heard to feel a chill run down their spines. In Li Yunxiao's eyes, doubt filled his gaze. He also wasn't quite sure what Han Yuan wanted to do. Looking at his appearance, he seems very excited. Could it be that he's a pervert who likes to abuse people? High Priest Han's face showed displeasure. He said, "You don't understand any. I want to completely erase this soul slave spirit. I'm going to refine his chest, transforming it into primordial spirit power. Reverse refining. To refine Li Yunxiao's soul. A reverse refinement. The fearsome so-called refinement is actually a reverse process, an inversion. A reverse refinement process. To this day, it remains a challenge for the alchemists. For example, refining 18 types of materials into a magic sword, but unable to return the sword to its 18 original materials. Therefore, the alchemists consider this a challenge. Lian still firmly believes the process of cultivation cannot be reversed. However, throughout history, there have always been exceptional talents. Still, many alchemists feel more interested in reverse cultivation. Moreover, over the long years, a great deal of frustration has accumulated. Many documents, although current practice of the reverse directional cultivation is not yet fully realized through research, it has had a great effect on the development path of cultivation Dao, and furthermore, it has also created many ancient and strange techniques and secret methods. Currently, the Han high-level technique is one of furthermore directly integrating the ancient Kim Van into the method. One can see that he has already achieved significant success in this field. Golden-hued soul servant in the air let out a miserable scream for a while, and then the sound gradually weakened as the soul servant lost its form, turning into a mass of pure energy. Lai Van Tu saw this, and the inner thoughts have become somewhat cold. This secret technique of reverse crafting can already reverse craft a soul slave. Then what about the soul of an ordinary person? Could it also be directly refined into a mass of energy? If so, how is it different from the soul-devouring clan's soul pill? It's all about finding the soul and then absorbing the power within. The energy High Priest Han absorbed that energy mass into his body. It's too chaotic. In his eyes, a strange glow appeared. He said, "Currently, I can't manage it anymore. Using this energy mass, I might be able to briefly break through to the ninefold soul body and break this seal." High Priest Han fell, receiving a large amount of soul power supplement. Immediately, Hao Kai roared loud. Then, Lin's entire body didn't fly up, only his 2 hands clapped upwards towards the sky. Immediately, a vast expanse of golden light erupted. The immense space, under the pressure of the high level Han, began to stretch. All the surrounding space was constantly changing. The scene below, with a single strike, quickly transforms. The surroundings also change rapidly. The area around the 2 people has completely changed. It has turned into a blurry space. 7 massive stone pillars here above. Standing between these 7 stone pillars, a towering tower with swirling demonic energy visible on. Even the eyes can barely make it out. One can often see these chains, which only occur within a few breaths. They have left 2 completely dumbfounded. Li Yunxiao and Yuan Yuan Gao Han both considered he highly knowledgeable, but upon seeing the tower and stone pillars still felt an extremely shocking sensation. Yuan Gao Han swallowed hard, saying, "What is this thing? The aura emanating from it is truly evil." Li Yunxiao's experiences far surpass mine. After his initial shock, Han quickly regained his composure. He pondered, then said to Xiao Yuan, "Did you manage to do anything? Instead of escaping, you dragged us even deeper. Then, shouldn't you compensate me for my lost soul? You lowly slave." High Elder Han is furious, scolding me. "I've already broken the prohibition. I just broke prohibition a moment ago. At this point, do you still have the heart to talk about such trivial matters? You're so obsessed with money you've gone mad." High Elder Han looked up only to feel a surge of his own aura suddenly emanate. "It's truly evil, reaching the depths of my heart. It evokes a feeling of fear." Li Yunxiao said, "This illusion, even this space, is very likely to exist because of the seal of this ancient tower." The high level Han seemed extremely shocked, saying, "The aura emanating from the ancient tower seems to be a top grade, 9th grade. Not only the ancient tower, even those 7 pillars possess 9th grade chi. Furthermore, there ends me creating a formation within the evil chi." Tung Sin, on approaching, felt his whole body tremble. Li Yunxiao's expression became even more serious as he watched the demonic chi from all sides of the ancient tower. He swallowed his saliva and said gravely, I've already caused so much trouble. Let's take this time to see if there's a place to go outside. If we're not mistaken, inside the pagoda there must be a very powerful person. Furthermore, these evil spirits are increased, seemingly accumulating strength little by little." Even the high-ranking demon Han, his expression was even more unsightly than Li's. Yunxiao found it incredibly hard to believe, saying, "How is this possible? How the heavenly martial realm possibly have demonic chi exist?" Li Yunxiao's heart stirred slightly. He said, "Do you know anything about it?" Han Yuan turned his head, looking at him with distress. He said, "I might know something. The demonic chi is from the most powerful clan. The ancient period has been buried in the river of history, just like those spiritual beings, now complete unseen. No spiritual beings are visible anymore, and countless don't tell me we're about to see a ghost today." Li Yunxiao said, "Or that he saw spiritual beings. Amazing." Gao Han choked. Could this ghost also be created by them? Before, the strong ones here didn't just want to create true spirits. Moreover, they wanted to create. He felt this idea was incredibly absurd, but what he saw for his eye proved it all. Li Yunxiao said, "And good ghost could actually be created, but it's contrary to what he believes. This absolutely isn't him being suppressed by a strong person here. Just as you said, not only the ancient tower, but also the 7 stone pillars are all Xian Qi 9 stages." Li Yun flew up to examine the patterns. Many parts of patterns on those pillars are damaged. He seemed to want to verify some, reaching out to touch it. A cold sensation, a bone-chilling cold instantly spread throughout his body, as if his very soul was freezing solid. He was terrified, quickly retracting his hand, stammering in fear. He said, This is Northern Sky Ice Iron. It's actually Northern Sky Ice Iron." After Li Yunxiao discovered the material of this pillar, he was extremely shocked and shaken. Upon finding the documentation, he was incredibly astonished. His eyes seemed like they were about to pop out. "What is this?" "This is the North Heavenly Cold Iron." "You aren't kidding." Even Chao Han was scared out of his wits, feeling like he could stand still anymore. He stared in astonishment at the 7 towering stone pillars, and inside it actually contained rare 9th grade 10,000 gold difficult to find treasure, something that only needs a handful of material to refine a 9th grade bound artifact. Han, overjoyed, quickly stepped forward and carefully examined. Only then did his mad joy show. If it weren't for the chilling aura, he would have really wanted to take a bite. Li Yunxiao, on the other hand, was much calmer. His eyes filled complex expression. These 7 pillars, although just support pillars, are already extremely terrifying. Compared to the heavenly mandate Kyuyet Kim he encountered before, it's far more difficult and extravagant. No wonder heavenly treasures and heavenly martial world resources are becoming increasingly scarce. Turns out it's all because of the reckless exploitation by those who came before, who showed no restraint whatsoever. What to do now? Now, Li Yunxiao calmly asked, as if unmoved by these 7 pillars. In the eyes of the high-ranking Han, greed and delight were brimming. He licked his lips, saying, "One step at a time. But these 7 pillars must be obtained." Li Yunxiao sighed softly and said, "This Northern Heaven Han Star Iron I also great. I want to, but the 7 pillars were built by the Northern Heavens. This Han Xing iron forging is clearly the eye of the ancient Thap's sealing formation. If it's destroyed, the great demon within the ancient Thap will come out." Han at this moment slightly flinched, also discovering the severity of the problem. He was astonished, looking inside the ancient Thap, revealing it wasn't simply Korean pill licked away off. His dry, cracked lip trembled, unable to speak. So many years had passed. Even if there was something, it should have perished by now. Li Yunxiao, his heart stirred slightly, immediately bringing to mind the old emperor within Tu Dui Mountain. He was surely an ancient great demon, suppressed for many years. Now, only his essence remained. The martial arts leader is suppressed here. He may only have breath left. Both of them are outcasts. At the 9th rank, their resistance against this kind of treasure is almost non-existent, so they are looking for an excuse for themselves. Even though though they know that this behavior is extremely dangerous. Two of them exchange glance, a silent understand. Van's eyes immediately flashed brightly as she said, "Let's do that. Old Yuan, you first check it. There's an exit out of this space." Tin Kong, Chao Han, and the others also gazed eagerly and loudly exclaimed, "That's right. If there is, we can set up teleportation array here. If we encounter danger, we can use it to escape." Li Yunxiao immediately laughing a thumbs up. He praised, "That's exactly right, Senior." Han immediately stepped forward to catch him, feeling a jump in his eyes as he drew the formation. Li Yunxiao suddenly said, "Old Senior, for you lead. Tell me how these northern heaven star iron ingots are distributed." "What distribution of the ingots, Senior?" Han's eyes widened in strange wonder. Shouted out, "You won't want to take the northern Han star iron, will you, Li Yunxiao?" He opened his mouth wide, looked at him for a while in silence. He said, Stop. There's nothing more to say. You play by yourself. Old man's leaving first. Goodbye." He turned to leave alone, finding his way out. "Wait." Hai Han quickly stepped forward to stop, saying, "You want to? I alone bear punishment for releasing the great boss out into the world, right? I am currently using the status of a divine realm to issue orders and cooperate with me to collect these North Heaven Han steel ores. This is your mission responsibility." Lai Van Tu looked at him as he were a fool, sneering and saying, "Aru, stupid person, see, the North Heaven Han steel ores already makes you. Is your brain frozen, Yuan Gao?" Han's face turned purple with rage. "No matter whether it's gathering the Northern Heaven star iron or the patriarchal grand formation, escaping requires someone to cooperate." He spoke coldly and icily. "You now lack devouring soul pill. Your strength is extremely weak, yet you dare to provoke me? How dare you?" Li Yunxiao said. "Doesn't matter. That thing was originally mine to pick up and put down." "What the hell, Elder Han?" He suddenly blurted out very quick. You aren't a disciple of the soul-devouring sect." Elder Han only felt a slight dizziness. He had been tricked under the might of that soul-devouring sect member, having his essence stolen and his soul refined by the soul-refining technique, deceiving the meaning of 3 words in the ancient scripture from the ancient times, yet now he speaks of soul-devouring. "That thing is something picked up." Li Yun's eyes are white, no trace of blood, and he says, "I am the martial sect. How could it be possible to cultivate the soul-devouring version? A waste for you. You are a 9th grade artifact refiner, and still look at you foolish. I thought you were. It's just great wisdom tending to be ignorant, only now realizing that I'm actually stupid." Cold, harsh truth hits hard. I was momentarily lost, not knowing what to do. My face turned pale and green. Stammered. Lai Van Tu coldly glanced at him and said, 7 pieces for me, 1 piece for you. Go get the North Heaven cold steel yourself. My mom's calling me. I need to go home for dinner." Then Li Yunxiao lazily approached. He almost wanted to leave Elder Han's place. He felt like vomiting blood, but as he was a soul body, he really couldn't. He was a little dizzy. He gritted his teeth. Good, Li Yunxiao said this time, stopping and letting out a cold laugh. "Elder Han, everyone here is intelligent. I hope you won't be so foolish in front of me again. Otherwise, I will despise Chao Vien Han." Chao Vien Han was indeed quite angry, but couldn't do anything. The two of them at this moment were more than 100 meters away from the ancient pagoda and began to arrange the Shun Jian transmission song. Great formation. Very quickly, within a few breaths, they had laid it out. After finishing the pill, Han said, "All right." He suddenly thought the ancient tower and the need to suppress it. To suppress it, one should suppress such demonic fiends like you. The two of them slowly calmed their minds, their gazes sweeping across the surroundings. At the ancient tower, he began to carefully observe the 7 northern celestial Han star pillars. "That pill," Han said, "I've used this treasure, the seal of the Eye of the Storm. This seal is absolutely not weak, even though it has endured countless years of it. I can't underestimate it. Therefore, I will retrieve these northern celestial Han tin iron from the sacred realm. This is my responsibility. It's time to create a large amount of mysterious chi. It might even increase the overall strength of everyone. Top martial artist in the world." Li ascended to a higher level. Li Yun lightly tapped forward. A beam of light shot out from his fingers, striking the patterns on the 7 stone pillars. They flashed, and instantly an invisible barrier appeared, blocking it and causing it to disappear. Han Yuan angrily said, "Don't be so reckless. Because of your nonsense, I will be." "You killed him," said Li Yunxiao. "No need to look for 7 pillars descending. It's a regular formation. This type of formation, though simple, is also very practical. Doesn't require any spiritual energy, because even with more spiritual energy, there will be a day when it and 7 North Heavenly Star iron pillars this large, one could paddle through the endless cycles of time until the ancient tower and everything inside is buried, never to rise again." The high ice pillar was stunned, staring for a while, and only then did it become clear. The expression of fear. "One must understand that every master in cultivation is a grand master of formations. If I, on the battlefield of Tao, cannot even compare to this young man in front of me, then it truly is. It's too terrifying. Let's begin. If it's a regular match, it might not be hard to break through, but for this critical match, it might be different." Li Yunxiao has finished his preparation and is about to speak. "After removing these 7 pillars, we must immediately leave." Yen Gao Han nodded slightly, his expression serious. The two immediately separated and stood on either side. They increased their strength to the maximum. Let's go, Li Yunxiao shouted. The soul immediately merges. Demon Dragon General's divine decision is activated. It immediately strikes with 3 northern heavenly cold, and the cold gem next to him. Facing him, the opponent also activates the soul technique, a powerful force sweeping 4 trees. With the combined efforts of both 7 northern heavenly cold gems finally start to tremble. He began to tremble violently beside the high tower. Cause Goda shielded couldn't see Lai Van Tu's demon transformed appearance. Lai Van Tu was still focused on collecting the 4 pillars. Furthermore, in his heart he continuously assessed how after escape he would snatch the other 3 pillars from Lai Van Tu. Very quickly, 1 pillar was pulled out by him. 1 pillar had already been pulled out by outside. There is a considerable amount of demonic energy spilling out, causing the Chao Han to be alarmed. At the tail end, when it was pulled out, there were also signs of demonic energy corroding. Suddenly, the sky above shook violently. 3 trees on Li Yun's side immediately pulled out. Li Yun quickly followed with 3 more heavenly frost steel stakes, heading toward the teleportation array. Han Yuan was inwardly shocked. How could he be so fast? His pupils constricted. He suddenly turned back and upon look discovered the signs of demonic transformation on Li Yunxiao's body. He immediately shouted, "Cold, you dare deceive me? Say, if it's not the soul-devouring sex techniques, if it's not a soul battle technique, then what is it?" "Wait, don't rush. Wait a moment, Yuan." "Wait." Chao Han suddenly felt cold sensation running down his spine as if falling into an ice cave. Feeling terrified, he looked toward the demonic energy continuously pouring out from the tower, which seemed to be undergoing a transformation. At this moment, the ancient tower began to emit a massive shaking, ground trembling, mountains shifting, and the sky darkening violently. Layers of dark cloud continued to gather. The spinning high-level Han was so frightened that quickly rushed away, using his spiritual power to surround the 4 back Thien Han tin iron trees swiftly rising into the air. The demonic energy could corrode materials of the 9th rank, and furthermore, it created such a large anomaly. What was inside would definitely not be simple. Truly terrifying. He looked at Lai Van Tu. Already, Tuan arrived the Song army's position from afar. He angrily shouted, "Did you see something beforehand, but didn't tell me? Li Yunxiao has already taken the 3 pillars." He coldly snorted. "Even if I told, would you have refrained from taking them? Stop wasting time. I don't have time to wait for you," he said. Then, quickly casting the incantation to act the teleportation array, the high-level cold being became even more panicked, exerting all its strength in a desperate attempt to fly. In just a few moments, it entered teleportation array. If it really allowed Li Yun to teleport away, it would be the end for him. The 2 of them, after entering the array, transformed into a beam of light. Huang leaped forward. The Han Gao seemed to feel something was wrong and cried out in alarm. "What happened? Why is pressure so great?" This kind of instantaneous movement technique, although it causes great damage to the body, is absolute, not to the point of being unbearable. Let alone when the 2 of them set up formation, they had already calculated distance well. "But now, I feel like I'm about to collapse." Li Yunxiao, "I don't understand what happened. I'm furious." "You ask me, but who am I supposed to ask? It's the 8-fold soul body's essence. Wasn't it stirred when you set up formation? What hand movements or work are you talking about at this moment?" Then Gakengu was sleeping soundly on the ruins, suddenly opening its eyes, its limbs moving incessantly. He runs, shakes his thighs in satisfaction, and looks up. The sky continuously howls, his eyes shooting out. He appears to be in extreme pain as his body violently shifts. Suddenly, with a huge explosion, a massive blast rings out. His entire body completely detonates, turning into countless sharp shards. These fragments spread violently through the air. In the ruins of a large amount of black energy pours out. Naturally, it's all an illusion. Endless nothingness expands in the void. From that black nothingness, a ray of light shoots straight out, instantly piercing the strong wind. The force shoots out thousands of meters. 2 figures fall from the halo of light straight to the dilapidated ground, unable to bear the weight. 2 Li Yunxiao and Yuan Gao Han. One has a pale face, utterly sharing the same miserable fate as others. The halo is dim day and night, uncertain, like a dying star. At any time it still fall. Li Yunxiao's face was filled with fear as he looked at the ruins that had been completely entangled within the violent wind. Within the violent wind, a massive amount of demonic energy was spilling out, black, slowly coalescing into a form, a completely black figure without any face at all, silently standing amidst the air. Li Yunxiao, looking at his appearance, was inwardly terrified, saying, "Really is